And we are live. Welcome, everyone. My name is Niki Lopez of Niki Lopez Creative, and you're watching The Circle, where every Tuesday, 8:30 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm sharing stories of creative activists, artists, social entrepreneurs, people doing great things in the world today. And today we have a very special guest. We have Tahlea Allen-Ible. Thank you for joining us. Let's see.
Am I live? Am I on right now?
Yeah, we're on.
People are looking at me. All right. Hello, everyone. Do you want me to introduce myself?
Sure. So, well, we're going to get to that. So, yeah. So, Tahlea, she's a peace activist, a Creatrix Expressionist, and founder of the Uproar project. Welcome and thank you for joining us today.
Yes, I'm so excited to be here.
Absolutely. So I know, as far as I know, you're a creative or an artist first. Can you speak a little bit about your art form?
Okay. Well, first and foremost, I'm 25 years old, and I do everything, dibble and dabble and everything. But I first say I'm a spoken word artist. But I went to performing arts school for acting, film, singing, dancing, anything you think of, I do it.
Awesome. What was your start with being a performance? Is it something you did from you're little or?
Well, yes, when I was little, I used to go to church all the time with my grandmother, and so I used to love singing, and I would go on stage and sing with the choir, or I would lead the choir every once in a while, starting from the age of 4. And then ever since then, I've been writing songs and writing spoken word. But for me, I think spoken word called to me more because it allowed me to speak into any form of feelings. I got to express myself without feel. I mean, I could express myself through my songs, but with spoken word, I felt like I can speak and say and use lyricism to play with how I felt. So that's why I was more drawn to that form of art.
Awesome. Do you have any particular poets or spoken word artists that you might inspire you or that you look up to or yeah?
Definitely. Maya Angelou first and foremost. When I was in high school, I went to a film school, so I did a film piece and a spoken word piece. And I did the Still I Rise piece, which really stuck with me the most because it spoke about, being a woman and standing up no matter what has happened to you in the past. So her for sure, Langston Hughes for sure. Mostly because he was one of the most well-known poets during a pivotal time in history.
Absolutely. And so I see that you have Creatrix Expressionist, and you spelled it very uniquely.
Yep.
Can you give us a little bit of definition or some story behind that name or that title?
So Creatrix, I wanted to think of a name for myself because I created the Uproar project, which is a nonprofit for activist artists, and I didn't want to call myself a founder because everyone, the common names are founder, creator, and I was like, I am a creator, and I feel like I also, I'm very innovative with the way I do things. And whenever something doesn't work out, I always think about creative ways to resolve it. So instead of being called that, I decided to go with Creatrix. Also because for that reason, and also because the idea of being a business owner, sometimes it's tied to a certain level of professionalism, and I don't want it to become a thing that because I own a nonprofit, that means that I'm professional, I wear a suit or whatever the case, and a suit and tie, whatever the case would be. That's not my vibe at all. My vibe is a lot of, you're free to express yourself, and I want people in my space to feel that way. So I want to be able to feel that way as a business owner as well. So that's why I call myself a creatrix.
Absolutely. And then let's take a few minutes. We have some people. So we're live right now on Facebook on Niki Lopez Creative as well as Outclick Magazine. We're live on YouTube and Periscope. And I know, Jai, you're on your Instagram as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So we have a couple of people. We have Zifra saying hello. Uh, Cynthia Hayes saying hello to everyone. BJ, I just was on her. She had an amazing chat with a few Black leaders talking about racism and what people could do and all these things. And it was a great chat on bridging the gap. Uh, but we also have here. So I know you do poetry and music. Do you have a preference between the poetry or the songs, or they just kind of whatever comes to you?
Honestly, I do both. So I recently released a poetry album. It's called Elements of Jai, and that album consists of both. It consists of my spoken word and my vocal skills.
Oh, awesome, awesome! And for those on Facebook, I just put in the link to the Bandcamp, so you could check out some of her music as well as buy them and support um, a young up and coming, well, not well, community activist and creative. Could you share a piece with us?
Sure, absolutely. So I have this. So let me just speak into why it's called Elements of Jai first.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
so it's called Elements of Jai because, like I said to you, like I'm a creatrix and I've gotten very creative with the way that I do things. And I'm also a Gemini. If anyone follows zodiac signs, and
Mhm.
and knowing Geminis, there's this idea we have two personalities. So for me, I do have different forms of me, but then also as a woman, I represent woman women's freedom of expression and
Mhm.
an enthusiast. And I feel like as a woman, there's a lot of stigmas of how we are supposed to present ourselves. And there's different shades to women. There's to womanhood. There's wild, there's calm, there's the untamed, there's the tamed, there's the humble, all of it. And I feel like I access all, and in the spiritually connected, and I
Mm.
feel like I have all of that: the spiritual connection, the wild side, the humble side. And so that's why I needed Elements of Jai, because a lot of the pieces on there speak into each forms of my expression. So this piece is actually called Dear Black Woman, and I wrote it for actually before the Black Lives Matter movement popped off.
Mm.
But I wrote it because I have a lot. In the past, I've had conversations about being in relationships with women, and I felt like there's always been drama and whatever the case may be. So I've mostly connected with guys. But recently, I'm connecting with my tribe, my women tribe,
Mhm.
and I'm noticing that in my women tribe, there's different shades of women. There are women that fully express themselves, and then there are women that like they're so like they hold everything in, and you can see they're holding it in, you can see they're trying to express themselves, but they don't. And it's like, for me as an observer, I feel like I observe people so much that like I'm watching them hold it in, and I'm like, please let the world know who you are, because I'm sure whatever you have to say, whatever you feel, is beautiful and brilliant. So I wrote this piece for that reason. And it's called Dear Black Woman. So, dear silenced Black woman, I see you over there, trapped by those four walls in your mind. I feel you, guarded with the same walls you built so you never had to speak again. I feel for you. It ain't never easy to be caught speaking without really speaking, but it's in your nature. That hiding from your power stuff ain't a fit in these parts. And I see you over there fighting, fighting to release those caged emotions, the good and the bad. But you're clouded by the suit of deceit to prove that you're what? You're weak. You fooled yourself because I see right through you. And I see that badass in you. So I'm going to stick to that. Dear loud-mouthed black woman, you tell them. They want us to conform to what's expected because they're really trying to make us think that we're bold for no reason. But I see you, girl. I know why you mad. Because they don't like it when we get mad. We're relentless. And that's intimidating, so you already know they against us. It's infuriating because I'm trying to tell you something from a real standpoint, and some just can't handle that. Dear feared black woman, oh, I know you oh too well. You got a big vision, and so you stop at nothing to achieve it. You take no shit, and you are the hunter rather than the hunted. Shout out to the females that don't speak up for themselves. You working hard to be seen. And shout out to the females that take no shit. I see you over there doing your thing, black woman. And shout out to the females that feel caged by society's conformities. You ain't never needed permission for the mission of success. And don't worry, because you're always at your best when you ain't really worried about the rest. So go on, black woman. Let them know. We ain't here to be tested.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. It's a great piece. We have Neri Street said, can you tell her Jai her background is fire?
Thank you. Tapestry. Where did I get it from? I don't even know where I got it from.
Yes.
The Tapestry website.
Yes. Sophie from Art Serve also giving some applause. So yes, people are enjoying that piece a lot. Absolutely. And so we have, I put in the comments the link to go check it out. Jai has arrived.bandcamp.com/releases.
Yes.
So we have G, love that.
Yes.
Zipra, snap to that. Absolutely. Absolutely. So this, okay, so moving into, you consider yourself a peace activist. How do you define peace activists?
So first and foremost, I must tell you, going by the name of peace activist, I already have expectations. People already expect me to get along with everybody, like everybody, and all that fun stuff. And that's not the case. I'm a human being. There are people that I'm not going to like. There are people that I'm not going to get along with. That I will not be able to sit next to, no matter how much money I get paid. Mm-hmm. So the reason why I stepped into peace activism is because, one, I want to redesign the stigmas or the conversations of the way things are supposed to look like. Mm-hmm. We all have different perspectives, different beliefs. We have preferences, and at the end of the day, my passion is that we can have that. We can live with those preferences, those beliefs, and still be able to coexist. Mm-hmm. So I stepped into peace activism. I mean, there was one day, I don't even remember what it was. I think I was watching an MLK speech in high school, and I told my mom, I walked into my mom's bedroom and I was like, I want to be a peace activist. And I don't think I stepped into it until 2018. And it was the beginning of 2018 where there was I don't know how many shootings had occurred at that point. It was countless. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't want to live in a world where I'm worried that one day when I have a child, I don't know if they'll come back home. I don't want to live in a world where I'm concerned about living who I date, whether race, gender, or whatever the case may be. So because of that, I chose to step into peace activism to, let the world know that you can have your beliefs. You may be a Trump supporter. You may be a Biden supporter. I don't care what you believe in. as long as we know that you can have those and be angry, have your emotions. Like, people think that because that people some people are so afraid of their emotions and sometimes they don't know what to do with it. And
Mm.
because they don't know what to do with it, they feel like they have to, like, they have to do something with it. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes it's okay to be angry, it's okay to be sad, it's okay to be all of that, and be with it and sit with it and talk it out. But for some reason it's turned into, when I'm angry I want to hit somebody, when I'm angry I want to kill someone. um if I don't like that, what that person like, if I don't like that someone wants to be a female instead of a male or vice versa, I'm gonna go ahead and, like, I just personally feel, as an activist, I I can start with myself, which is I get to accept the people in my life for their choices, for their preferences, for their beliefs, live as such, and then also encourage the people around me to live as such as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, and just like, in the shortest way that I can put it.
Yeah,
Because of course, there's way more to it than that. But
absolutely.
yeah, that's like the long and short of it.
Absolutely. And we do have a question. So Sophie was agreeing with what you said, loving it. And Anthony, he's making the circle. Thank you for joining us. Cynthia has a question. Says, Jai, who would you like to meet and what question would you ask them?
Who would I like to meet?
Mm-hmm.
Well, dead or alive? Because I mean, there are people that are not alive anymore that I would love to meet. But I guess in this lifetime, Oprah. Oprah Winfrey. And the second question, why do I want to meet them?
What question would you ask Oprah?
What question would I ask Oprah? I would ask Oprah um, to tell me how she got where she got, step by step. And I know that sometimes in the media, you can post it in the media and you can let them know step by step how you got there. But I would love for her to mentor me, actually. I would ask her, can you mentor
Yeah,
me?
absolutely. 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 So the Uproar Project, for someone who's never heard about it, how do you describe the Uproar Project and what
Okay.
inspired you to start it?
Okay. So first, like, what inspired me to start it, that goes back to the 2018 idea, which is when I thought, I don't want to live in a world like this. And it started, and I called a friend of mine. His name is Tristan Oliver. He's the first person I called, and I'm like, hey, I have this idea. I want to create peace rallies. I'm not really sure what peace rallies are gonna look like in this world. People might not even want peace rallies right now. They're gonna think I'm crazy for wanting peace rallies. But I think a great way to create peace is through art. And he's a rap artist. He's like, yeah, sure. I'm like, what? Okay, one person believes me, cool. So then I got like this adrenaline rush. Call somebody else. Ron, who's a motivational speaker, same thing, cool. So it started with the three of us, and I the purpose of it is it's a collective of activist artists, all forms of artistry, from ranging from performance art to visual art, and we host quarterly showcases throughout the year that are basically like concerts. They're like peace concerts, and we promote unity and social justice and all that fun stuff. So each activist has their own umbrella of their beliefs. Like, one person has woman empowerment, one person believes in police reform, and so on and so forth. But it's all under the umbrella of peace.
Mm.
So it's great now because we're having protests now, and everyone is being it's more prominent that people are saying, yes, I want to see peace. And I thought it came to me in a dream, actually, because I was like, how I want to bring people together. I want people to see that peace is possible in this lifetime. And what is something that I can do that will have people feel that peace is possible? Oh, everybody loves music. Everybody loves art. We whether I can go to a gallery and I'll never know that person that'll walk next to me in the gallery, and they'd be like, "Oh my God, that's so beautiful," and we'll both admire that piece together and probably never see each other again.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for me, art is a universal language because I listen to Spanish music, I listen to Korean music periodically, I listen to all types of music, and even though I don't know what they're saying, I can still feel what they're feeling. Um, and yeah, and when I go to concerts, same thing. Don't know the person, may not ever see them again, but we're having fun, we're loving it, we're joyful. We probably cry because it's an emotional moment, and then we carry on. So
Mm-hmm.
um, the uproar basically is a demonstration of what unity could look like if we were to say, okay, I don't agree with you on this, but I do agree that I want to see peace. Okay, cool. Let's come to this place just so that I want to see peace happen, and that's it. And it's just, I get it, like some people have become have given up on the idea of peace. They've given up on the fact that um or how better way to say it is, they don't know how to demonstrate it, so they say there's no way it can happen.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that I do that is through the uproar. And anyone that says they don't believe in what would say, of course she would.
Yeah.
What does that mean? What is she? Okay, I guess it's what I said. But I think that um, a great way to say for anyone that questions me about the uproar and that they don't believe that peace is possible, and they carry on about like, oh, well, what about this is happening in the world and this, because I've had people question me on the Upward page like, okay, that's cool that you want to do peace and all, but have you acknowledged the violence in this community and the violence in this community? That I'm not saying that violence is not happening. I cannot control people, but what I can say is that if we were to believe, do you want peace? Yes? Okay, cool. Do you want to see what it would look like to have peace? Okay, great. Can you come to this event and admire the talent and admire the people that are there that are enjoying the talent? Yes? Okay, cool. That's the first step. The first step is to believing that, like, if we can just come together for one common goal, um, that it's possible. And that's why I created the Uproar project. And yeah, I mean, we've been participating in organizing protests for the past few weeks. And it's been interesting because it is questioning our belief. Like, do you really believe peace is possible? Because people are yelling in my face. People are saying,
Mm-hmm.
are like, coming at me with their very far right, far left beliefs. And I get to be like Gandhi, or who else is very peaceful? MLK, who's like, I hear you. I love you. You may not even know who I am, but I love you. If you want to sit down and have a conversation, because I don't have a conversation, um, and we can go our separate ways, or you can sit next to me. But all I want to know is that you go home knowing that your emotions um, are not a weapon. Your
Mm-hmm.
emotions are beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
You're human. We're all human, and that's it.
And I think that's really important that you said when you're saying, "Hey, I hear you, I love you," because a lot of times, and you could give me your opinion on it. A lot of times, people really want to be heard, and so when you're saying we could do things peacefully, when you're saying different people could come together, we don't have to be the same, and when you're saying I don't have to have your same belief, but I could still say, I hear you, I love you, there's something, sometimes that's all you need to de-escalate something, or just for someone to now like, wait, well, what is she saying?
Right.
So yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I saw I shared some of the links that you were in the press recently because you were just a part of a Peaceful Black Lives Matter Alliance up in West Palm Beach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what was that like?
Well, people are going to see two forms of propaganda in the links. One form of propaganda is that there were two separate demonstrations, but they were all under a common goal. And the other propaganda is going to show that we could not get along and that there was a dispute and whatever the case may be. So before I get into the dispute, it was a great opportunity because it was my first time actually physically leading a protest and encouraging people. And, it grew. It started, I want to say it started with like 30 to 40 people. And then by the end, it was at least almost 100 people there.
Mm.
I saw people getting out of their cars with signs, running over, ready to walk with us. I saw a Caucasian couple that like were across the street from the protest, and we kneeled for about 8 minutes and 46 seconds for George Floyd, and they were across the street kneeling with us. So it was very cool to see that. And then there were people, which was very rare, but there were people that were like, you guys are like yelling at us and angry. But we were like, we love you anyways, we're gonna keep walking. So in that aspect, that was really cool because I got to say stuff like, yes, like we're sitting down in remembrance of people that passed away. And the good thing about this is that we're alive and we can stand up and speak up for what's right. Um, so before the protest, before we walked, um, we tried to collaborate with another organizer that was going to be in the same city to do the protest together, and they were not interested in doing it at all, which at that I was so disappointed even the second I got there, but I had to accept that that was their choice, and then we moved on. But then they came and they um, I guess hijacked or interrupted speeches that were given before the protest. And basically, they were upset with us because we were working with the police. We had communicated with the West Palm Beach Police Department, and we had told them, we're going to do this protest. And they were with us and on our side. And then when the dispute happened, the police officer came out and was like, "Hey, like this is a peaceful demonstration. I want peace as well, and I'm gonna go back inside. But if you're gonna do this, can you please go?" And this is where the part comes in where I actually did grab someone aside, one of the opposing protesters, to talk to them about it, but they were just so angry, like, why are you working with the police, like calling them pigs and like all types of names. And for me it was like, I hear you, I'm black, I could be one of the people as well. And I know that not all police officers are evil. I know that not all police officers are out to get us. I know that some of them are on our side. And one of my fellow organizers, what he said was, in order for us to get change, we need them to be at the table. We need them to be there to hear what we have to say, and we need them to be there so that they can speak into how they feel since they work in the police force. How do you feel that change should be initiated? But they weren't trying to hear that at all. And I actually have a meeting with them on Thursday to talk to them about it a little bit more and like have a true sit down of like, hey, I get it, emotions are flying, so it probably isn't best to talk when our emotions are rising, but let's see if we can come to some form of agreement. We might not agree on the fact that I'm being optimistic as I always am, but we might not ever agree on the fact that we want to work with the police to get this resolved. But can we agree that we want peace? Cool. Will you walk with us because you believe you want peace? That's what my mission is with this conversation. I was truly bummed at the fact that it ended in us still walking our separate ways, because the way it's portrayed in the media is that we couldn't get along. Yeah. And the way it's portrayed in the media is that we're Democrats, which is crazy because I'm pretty sure there's probably Republicans that were there. And if I don't even like the idea of going into titles, but we're gonna do it. But I don't like it comes off as we're Democrats that can't get along, so why should we have a Democrat in the office kind of thing.
But it goes back to I don't think there's still a lot of, like you're saying, you're optimistic, because the thing is, you're saying that, and everyone has their own opinions of how something should be done. I think the underlying importance is that both groups see there's something to be addressed, and we're both passionate about it. And it's great that both groups have said, you know what, let's get on the same page. Let's figure out what you're doing, how we're what you're doing, so we could coexist and move forward. Because there will be people that want to, add to that fuel. I'm actually watching Who Killed Malcolm X, and they talked about how, like, the FBI and all those people were like really trying to fuel that tension, and actually doing things. So you have to worry about the media. That's going to happen. And, as long as you're connected to, I'm a peaceful activist, I want to get along, and connecting with the intentions of how can we both coexist, and how can we complement each other? How can we, peacefully respect each other's spaces is great.
Yeah.
I do have a couple of questions. So we have Sophie saying, Jai, I love your mission. How can we experience this wonderful project? Is this a virtual experience?
So we've done it in the county areas, so West Palm, Fort Lauderdale, Miami. We did it virtually in April or May, I think, because of COVID. The next one is going to be in August, and we're actually planning it at the Boynton Beach Art District. And it's going to be at August 8th. You can find us on Facebook at the Uproar Project. You can also find our website, as I think it's being displayed here. So yes, we do it quarterly, so it'll be August and November of the last two shows of this year. We will potentially, I can't say that word apparently. Oh my goodness, we'll probably do it virtually, because we understand that COVID is happening and all that fun stuff. And we also want to get it to other places beyond Florida. So we are exploring the idea of doing the August one in person and virtually. But I don't have a solid answer on if it'll be both yet. Yes. So for more information, follow us on Facebook and you'll get all the answers there.
Absolutely. And we had Zipra, she was talking about a little bit earlier. Unfortunately, anything nowadays is written as having a political agenda.
Yep, it's really sad. It's really, and it's one of the things I shared, because I gave a speech, and my speech started off with that, like that for some reason, categorization is instilled in our systems. Gender, religion, sexuality, political preferences. For some reason, you're always underneath an umbrella of something. Mm-hmm. And if that's how the world's going to be, I get it. I'm not going to change that. And given that that's what it is, can we have those beliefs? Can we have those preferences and still be able to say and walk next to each other down the street? That's all I want.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And it's a way to connect to like-minded people, because, there's going to be something for everyone. So I think the important thing is that more and more people are, one, becoming active, but two, some of us have been doing this work, and so people are starting to get some visibility about the work that they've been doing, because all of those things, is necessary. So that's great. We have Michael, peace and love. Absolutely, peace and love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's challenging. It's challenging. It's actually becoming more challenging as a peace activist now. Before, it started off as me just saying it and speaking it into existence, and now I'm actually making the moves by co-organizing protests and doing the uproar in the middle of the Black Lives Matter movement. And now I'm being tested. People are posting things that are actually very hurtful online. I'm actually getting, insulting things in my inbox. Not often. It's very rare. It's like 1 or 2 people, but it's coming. And and it's like, are you sure you want to be a peace activist? Because we're really going to test you and see if you really, really want to be like peaceful in the midst of the storm. And I'm ready for it. I'm here for it.
Absolutely. I'm glad you are. We have Andrea. The goal is equality, especially when we're marching and preaching. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, what are some ways that people could? I know we have the Facebook to connect to you. What are some ways that people can support your movement, to get involved with your movement? What's ways you could do that?
Okay, so ways to support starting off is becoming a part of the team. So if you want to become a part of the team, there are two ways. One, it is by being an artist on the team. So if you are a artist and consider yourself um, an activist for change or positivity or anything like that, reach out to me. You can email me at theuproarproject@gmail.com. If you're interested in being a part of the support team as like a secretary, treasurer, helping with organizing events, anything of the sort, getting in contact with the city for anything, same thing, email us at theuproarproject@gmail.com. If you're interested in donating to us, because we are a nonprofit organization, you can donate to us via Venmo, the Uproar Project. Um, and we also have Uproar t-shirts that say have the Uproar logo on the front, and on the back it says a movement, not a moment. And those are up for donation. So when you donate to us, we actually give you those shirts. We also have Uproar pins. And how else can you support is by, if you know anyone that is looking for something like this, a peace rally in their city, because the purpose of it is to unify our communities, our neighborhoods. So that's where it starts. Once our neighborhoods and our communities are unified, then we can take it abroad to the states, and then to the United States of America and the world. Okay, I'm getting carried away, but yes. So yes. So if you know anyone that's looking for this in their city, have them reach out to us. And that's the same thing, the Uproar Project at gmail.com. You can also message us on Facebook via the Uproar Project page.
Awesome, awesome. If you had access to a time machine, where would you go and why? Past or the future?
Well then. Oh man, I have an option because I would pick both. I want to see, I want to see if, because right now what the Uproar is also working on is, I know there are other organizations that are doing similar stuff. So we are collaborating with those organizations. And so I would love to see in the future, do we successfully have one umbrella? And are we successful in the Black Lives Matter movement? Is police reform initiated? So on and so forth. In the past, I actually would like to meet MLK and sit down and have some tea with him. And yeah.
So we have so we have Andrea said, we need more people to grade the gap between separation and love. We've been shackled by the system for too long. We demand change through peaceful activism. My question is, what would our ancestors do? Do it, but pump it up. Oh, bridge, not great. Yeah, bridge the gap. Yes.
Bridge the gap, yes. And then one thing I didn't say also is that we are also including a segment for the youth. We do understand that there are youth activists out there. So if you also are a parent or know someone that is a parent of a youth activist, you can point them towards the Uproar Project as well. And we do understand we're in the middle of COVID, so we do want to consider that. So if the youth does participate, we'll probably do a virtual show for the youth specifically. So, yeah.
Awesome, awesome. And I just saw we have LJ says, so glad to see you on the circle, Jai. Seeing you stand in your vision for peace, even when many may not agree with you, on the path that will get us all there. It's powerful. Big love.
Love you, LJ. Love you, Mom.
And we have Sophie. This is great chat. Thank you. Yes, thanks for being
Thank
here.
you, Sophie. Please feel free to find us on Facebook and share with your friends, tag your friends. We're almost to 1,000 followers, so.
Awesome, awesome. Awesome. So, any final words before we wrap up? Any things we
final words?
Yes.
My final words are, let people be. Let
Mhm.
people be who they are, love what they love. Um, we've all had our own battles of even letting ourselves express ourselves. So just, be compassionate for the fact that there are other people that are probably going through or went through the same thing, and be compassionate for the ones that can't access compassion right now because they've experienced so much anger and hate and resentment to the point where they don't even want to imagine that for themselves or for others.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's great. Awesome. So I want to thank everyone who's online now. We have people on Facebook, we have people on YouTube and Periscope. Thank you so much. Please share this video, tag it, like it. Someone's waiting to be inspired. Someone may want to join the Uproar project, and you can help facilitate that by just sharing the link. Again, we have Jai Tahlea, and you could find her the website, theuproarproject.com, if you want more information. Definitely go and check her out. If you'd like to know a little bit more about myself and what I do with What's Your Elephant, I'm going to throw that on the ticker as well at what'syourelephant.org, where we use the arts to create safe spaces and talk about everything unspoken. Oh, we have Andrea. I think that's your mom. Great job, Nikki. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Absolutely. And for those artists who may be on, I did put a call for artists link for the Aya Arts projects. So if you are a performance artist, definitely connect with Jai. Thank you, Jai, so much for being on here. Thanks, LJ, for connecting us. He was just like, she's amazing. You have to meet her and get her on there. And I'm so glad that we did that. So have a wonderful evening. And for those watching on the replay, thank you so much. Please do share.
Bye. Have a good night, everyone.
Yes. Good night. See you next week.